green light, and
Action.
green light. All right, cool. So let me go back to what that? Oh, you don't want that. That's pre-calculus. Go away.
Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah, you can. I believe you can.
I don't think
Actually, I know you can.
I know.
Um,
I definitely got myself.
no, you can do it.
We can bring the one that
5. So when we did 5-2, we did the roots and the zeros. We were looking at the linear factors. But they were kind of given to you already. So all you really had to do was recognize what the zeros were. So let me see, find some real quick here. Yeah. So let me see if I could break this thing down. What do we got? Yeah, that's all we're doing. So I think we did, was at the beginning? Well, anyways, here's what we did. So we were going to factor out a common factor in this case, which is x. And then we're going to have, that would leave us with x squared minus 2x minus 15, right? And then we said, okay, let's factor that piece. So we got xx, 3 and 5 multiplied to 15, and have a difference of 2. This would be negative, this would be positive. And then we said, hey, what are the zeros? And you say, oh, because of that, x is equal to 0. Because of this guy, x is equal to negative 3. Good. Because of this guy, x is equal to 5. So it's still the same thing. Still the same thing, except we're going to be working with some higher degree type stuff. Things that where we can't just pull out x and now we have a quadratic. That makes sense? So these are going to be the higher degree polynomials. So let me get to here. So here's what you need to know. What we were doing in the last lesson was doing a common factor, right? We took out x from everything. That's one thing that you can do. If we have a perfect square, then we can factor into the two binomials. And then we have a perfect square, we can kind of do the a plus b quantity squared. So this isn't anything that we haven't done before. These are just the ones kind of coming back up again. Same thing here. But these you might not have seen. So go ahead and write these down. Difference of scores we've already done. Factor by grouping, we can talk about that. But this is the one that you need. And this is called the sum difference of cubes. The sum difference of cubes. And here's your two formulas. Can you see that okay? Or do I need to rewrite it for you guys? It's good? Cool. Thank you.
Wait, which ones do we write?
All the others you should have already had. This is the one you definitely need to get for now. The one that's highlighted. Where's my marker? Where's Lane?
So depressed today.
Lane was depressed today?
No,
You're
no,
depressed?
I'm just sick.
Oh, they got away from you. No offense, but
No offense, but yeah.
I hate being sick because I'm the worst. I'm like take care of me kind of guy. Bad, make me some kind of deep. She makes fun of me too. She's like, could you go cosito, bebito?
Sí, sí, mi
And I'm
amorcita, sí, por favor.
Can you bring me my Switch?
I'm sorry.
But that's me. All I want to do when I'm sick is just like lay on the couch and play video games. Bring me warm stuff to drink and Chicken soup.
Why did I feel that?
He was laughing at you. Oh. Please, let me look here so I can go. Like, you don't know English.
Wait, don't change it yet.
I'm not. I've been having this craving for corn nuts today. Anybody like corn nuts?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I was sick like a couple days ago and then I just bought some. I was like,
Did you? They're bomb.
yeah.
I love corn
I
nuts.
haven't ate those in
Is
a
the
while.
spicy ones?
The spicy, I like all of them actually. The plain ones are okay, but like I'd rather have them with a little bit of something on there.
I'm
You're always hungry.
I know.
I remember high school life. That's all it is.
I swear.
I can't concentrate because I've been hungry.
Let me eat this while I think about what I'm gonna eat. All right.
Wait.
Oh, sorry. I do want to point something out though. There's two different ones, and there's one for the sum of two cubes and the difference of two cubes. So just notice this pattern. If it's the sum of two cubes, the first one is plus, but then it goes minus plus. So it goes plus minus, and on the minus one, it'll go minus plus. Technically, it's minus plus minus, but what happens when you square a negative? It becomes positive anyway. That's why they're both positive at the end. So, live streaming. Let me know when you're ready.
They're so good.
Are we good? Are we good? Good? Yes. Okay. So here we go. Oh, I had to make that bigger. So what are the real or imaginary solutions of this polynomial? So for now, put your pencils down. Just watch me do this. First question. Actually, I didn't put solutions up there, did I? How many solutions is it? Let me try that again. How many solutions will this polynomial have? 3. Are they all going to be real? We don't know. Maybe, maybe not. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to go ahead and move everything over so that it's on the left side. This one's simply going to be one of those factor out something common. So they all have an x in common. I can take that out. That'll leave me with 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. And then I'm going to try to factor this thing. Okay? Now these are a little bit tougher to kind of do them with by the guess and check kind of business. So you can fall back on Xbox. Remember when we factored with Xbox? Or you can just simply do the quadratic equation. What do you want to do?
With the quadratic equation.
Yeah, the quadratic equation. X equals opposite b plus or minus radical b
I
squared.
just plug and play.
I like to do that,
That's what I
but
do. I just plug and play.
that's not everybody's
So
cup of
can you
tea.
do that? You can plug and play. Let's see.
For this one, it's actually easier to just do it's called the guess and check, not plug and play. But I like that. You should coin that before someone takes it, because when you think about this, the only way to get 2 is 2 and 1, right? The two numbers up front have to multiply to this, so that means one has to be 2x, the other one has to be x. There is no other way. I mean, you could swap them, but it's still going to be x and 2x. This last number, 3, is also a prime number, isn't it? So the only way to get that 3 is going to be a 1 and a 3. And then what I need to do to check if it works is to check the differences. So what is this product? You're multiplying this product. It's a 6x, right? And how much is that? That's a 1x. So if I subtract them, do I get a 5x? Yar. Someone just put that in my mouth. Yeah, you do. So there's the factorization. Now here's the question though.
You make the 3 with
Which one's going to be the negative? Which one's going to be the positive? Well, I need the bigger product to be negative. So which gave me the bigger product? The 2 times 3 or the 1 times x? So this is going to be the negative. This will be positive. And now I have my 3 zeros from this. Because of this guy, x is equal to 0. Because of this guy, x is equal to a negative 1/2. And because of this last guy, x is going to be 3. Anybody need me to do this one for you? Or can you see it with your eyes? You want me to do it? Okay. So here's what we're saying. Remember we said this could be 0, all of this could be 0. 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. What's x? Well, let's find out. Take away 1 to both sides, that's gone. I've got 2x is equal to negative 1. How do I get x by itself? Divided by 2. That means that x had to be a negative 1/2. So there are my 3 zeros. I'll leave that on there for the people that want it. Let me show you the whole screen. There we go. Fantastico. Is there a field trip today?
Yeah.
Cool.
I was supposed to go.
¿Y por qué no? Oh my God. Ooh, watch out, too short. Funky, funky ghetto.
Watch out, short two.
Huh?
Watch out, short two.
Short two? No, you would do too short. Yeah, Romo? Courtney, Ruben, Elijah, Luis, Kirgalahar, Wartha, Colton Justice, Adriana Deja, Gloria, Naheda, Pedigo, Sergio, Jaylene, Justin, Benjamin, Leo, Francisco, Lali, Destiny, Anastasia, David up, son, Kaylina, and Jocelyn. Where Jocelyn's? There you are. I'm about to copy that one more. I'm gonna get one of those things they have in the hospital, and I just put coffee in it and put it in my veins.
I hate Ivy.
I would die. You can't do that, huh? Just a thought, though. Like constant caffeine drip all day. I got so much energy. I just can't run with this. What?
She said she's gonna put air pollution in, so that's what she said.
Ruined my moment. Are we good? I went to the hospital one time they could draw blood. I swear to God, the lady was new because she was moving that needle around like it was a. Like, dude, you're not supposed to do that, man. My arm got like swollen purple, like right there.
Oh my gosh.
I was so
did
mad.
not-
Like, lady, I don't think you're supposed to move the needle like that. Because she was like, I'm trying to find the vein. You ever get one of those? And like, what are you doing? I'm gonna die. I'm gonna amputate my arm. I'm trying to get the vein right. No. Okay.
Hello.
That just opened.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be. Okay.
I have a question. Can I just wait?
Sure, you're welcome. Wait, there's a chair right there. Is this shut though? You scared me there. I'm like, who's gonna come in?
Welcome to class.
There you go. All right, I can change the slide now?
Yeah.
Good. So let's go here. Now, you need to be aware of this situation because this will happen sometimes, especially when you're working with fourth degree polynomials. They'll factor out really nicely into these two, what look like to be squares. Okay? Looking at the first one, I want to see, I'm thinking this could be the difference of two squares. If it was the difference of two squares, they factor into two things called conjugates. It would be +1 and a -1 because the middle piece falls out. You guys remember that? Looking at the other one though, oh, that's a positive, right? Is that the difference of squares? So how do we factor the sum of two squares? Because this is the sum of two squares, right? This is x squared and 2 squared, right? So how do I factor that? You can't. The answer to that is you don't. Okay? So that stays the way it is. X squared plus 4 is equal to 0. This will give me two real zeros. What's the 0 for this guy? Nice and loud. -1. What's the 0 for this guy? A +1. And then we still need to get the other two zeros. And what we can do, same as we did a minute ago, we can ask algebra, hey algebra, when does x squared plus 4 equal 0? And then what we'll do is we'll go x squared equals a -4. Take the square root of both sides. X will give me plus or minus. Why plus or minus?
Oh, because it's positive or negative.
I took the square root of a square. Whenever I take the square root of a square, I should do plus minus. Now, what's the square root of 4? 2, but that leaves the, because it's the square root of 4 times the square root of -1, right? This is the 2, so I need to make sure I put it in. What is this? Letter. I. So there's my other two zeros. My other two zeros are 2i and -2i. So there's all 4 of the zeros, whether you want them or not, math lab. Okay? What's your question?
About stats.
Huh?
Stats. Homework.
Yeah, which one?
16.
Did we learn about stats?
E, F, G. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I did it right.
Are we learning stats?
No, she is.
What is this?
Sorry. Took good though. Okay, so here's what you need to do. There's some weight for the where this is 1% of that. So you need to figure out where that is and find the equivalent to z-squared. Because then you can do z equals x minus x1. Right, so once you find that z-score, you put it
I gotta put a moment for my
no.
three votes.
Oh my gosh, I read it. So he just picked it up and let it go. It's like a flower sheet up there, my brother.
Why, you want me to get you some?
I'll give you.
Alright. They're only, it's like $3.
I don't go to school like that. Oh, my dad goes out. He ain't gonna let me go.
1% above.
So,
I'm dying. I'm dying.
that should be fun. For the 1,500. Or 15,000. For
No.
G. And it says,
If 15,000 infants
so I would
have been
replace.
born in the hospital.
Did I use the same
Well, yeah.
equation?
So when you get that percentage, just multiply by that.
Oh, okay. Oh, but you don't have a, you don't have a table, do you?
You can go to our website.
Okay.
Jamie was on me. I have all hours. Yes.
I'll come back after 6.
Bye. All right.
Wait.
Oh, you're still writing? Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm
why-
dying.
Okay, so if math exam, if they were to ask for all of the
If they ask for all of the zeros, then you put all 4 in. If they want all of the real zeros, then you just put those 2 in.
well, like, if we have infinite 2i and a negative 2i, can we just do the plus line?
Yeah, you could do plus minus. There's a plus minus symbol in there. They should know that that's 2 of them. Okay?
They're good.
Anybody ever blow their nose and their ears pop?
Yeah.
You ever been on an
That's
airplane?
a
Your ears
hurt.
pop?
What? No, I hate airplanes. But I've been on an airplane. I don't
I
like them.
hate airplanes.
It's scary. The only time I'm scared is when it takes off, when it lands, and when it's in the air.
Ready?
I hate airplanes.
Man, when I've been trying to take a picture, I'm like,
Yeah,
airplane,
it
yeah.
is. I thought it was French.
3 times. I've been on an airplane 3 times in my life.
Tickets are only like
I hate
Only
it.
to get us
I've been on an
one.
airplane. I took the lead on an airplane one time, and it was 30 minutes. I was like,
Twice for work. One of them, I was a kid. I had no choice.
I was a kid. Wait, why'd you have to go for work?
Once I had to go to Vegas for a training, and then another one had to go to LA for a
Oh,
training.
yeah.
Yeah, not LA. What? People just open my door like, oh, it's all for me.
like.
Oh, this is not this class.
They're over a different
That's
house.
how I can get like
Why?
I see, says the blind man. Thanks. Anybody want pictures of
Me?
me? Yeah.
No, not you. That's whoever you guys.
I won't even be here tomorrow, so I don't know if they'll get those. All right, let's move on. So here's another problem for us to work on. Ooh. So. Now, that looks harder, doesn't it? It looks harder like than anything we've done because the degrees are 4. And then they're missing a few. This really shouldn't be a big deal at all. All this is saying is that we're going to have x squared and x squared. What two numbers multiply to a negative 4 and have a difference of 3? It'd be 1 and 4, right? So 1, 4, that'll be negative, that will be positive. Okay? Can this piece be factored? No, this is the sum of 2. So remember what that produces for us? Imaginaries, right? So this would be plus or minus I, or 1I, whatever you want to call it. Over here, that does factor into 2 conjugates. Plus 2 and x minus 2. So that's going to give me plus or minus 2. So there's all 4 of my solutions for this guy. Where? On the first one? Someone curving it over there.
Wait, is that 2 or I? The bottom.
This is a 2. This one's an I right here. This is the one I lost you on? Well, here. When does x squared plus 1 equal 0? If I do minus 1 minus 1, I've got x squared equals a negative 1. Take the square to both sides. That's going to give me plus or minus something, right? Well, what's left there? I. Was that you?
No.
No, not me at all. Justin scratched on it.
Definitely.
Oh my gosh. My door's supposed to be locked and it keeps opening. That's why they're laughing. Okay? I saw that happen. I was waiting for
Don't be embarrassed.
What do you need me to do? Oh my goodness. Okay.
All I have is the lab portion.
No, you
I don't have the tutorial sheet for the lab. So I can't.
Let me check it. It might be because I saw some new classes show us. That might be
I
it.
think you're gonna find that in the very.
I'll take a look. If I can, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Make sure this shuts this time. There we go. That's like, I'm trying to keep a door locked and like, you were just coming in like nothing. Alright. Let's see who else comes through my door. What's up? Yeah, you can. Yes and no. Yes and no. Let me I'm gonna try something else here for you guys. The question was, can I solve that with the quadratic equation? The nice thing here is that it kind of follows a pattern still. Thank you. Usually we would go 2, 1, none, right? And there was a difference of 1 between them. In this case, there's a difference of 2 between them. So I can treat this as if it was simply x squared. Well, let's change the letter this time. Let's go with p. P squared minus 3p minus 4. And I'm going to say, you know what? P is actually equal to an x squared kind of thing. I can solve this guy factoring or quadratic if you wanted to. So in this case, b is a negative 3, negative 3, negative 3. A is 1, 1. And then I've got negative 4, right? So that's going to give me 3 plus or minus something over 2. 3 squared is 9. Negative negative is going to make a positive. So this is a plus 16. That's going to give me 25, right? So I've got this. So what's 3 plus 5? 8. 8 divided by 2? 4. So x is equal to 4. 3 minus 5 is 2, or negative 2. Negative 2 divided by 2 is a negative 1. And there's my solutions again. Except, I'm not really done. Because remember, oh sorry, this shouldn't be x's. These should be p's, right? Because I changed the letter. So now I got to go back and do my substitution. So now I have x squared equals 4. X squared equals negative 1. So then I can do it from here. Take the square root of both sides. Oh, plus or minus 2. Square root of both sides. Oh, plus or minus I. And there you go again. So any one of the methods will work. Whether you're completing the square, you're quadraticing, or you're factoring. Quadraticing, is that even a word?
You can make it a word.
We're learning about imaginary numbers.
Anything's possible.
All right, cool. How about that? How do you factor this thing?
X plus 1, X plus 1, X minus 1.
Actually, this is more complicated than what you think here. So, anybody writing right now? All right, so put your pencils down, look up here, because this is, remember I told you write this formula down? You're going to need that for this. This is x cubed minus 1 equals 0, correct?
Yeah.
This is what I want to factor. This is the difference of cubes. How do I know? I'm going to check it. Can I write this to represent that? Sure can. And this represents that, doesn't it? Because what's 1 times 1 times 1? 1. So it really is the difference of cubes. That means that I'm going to use that formula they gave me. So it's really just going to be x minus 1, right? The first one squared. So what is x squared? X squared. From minus it goes to plus. What's 1 squared? So this should be what? No, wait a minute. Did I miss something? It's a times b. So this should just be x, and then I should finally have 1 at the end. And there it is. Okay? So I want to show you that formula real quick one more time. It's right here. See it? Now, I don't like this version. David, the version that I use will be first cubed minus the second one cubed. First minus the second. First one squared plus first times second plus second one squared. So I do FS versus AB.
Isn't it the same?
Doesn't, yeah, it's the same thing. Doesn't matter. But the way I remember is first one, second one kind of thing. Now, what degree is this polynomial? Third degree. What's the 0 for this guy? 1. Then how many zeros for this guy? Now this isn't really factorable. So what you can do is throw this in the quadratic equation and it'll get your 2 imaginaries from there. Make sense? No? Okay, so 1 real, 2 imaginaries. And that usually happens like 85% of the time.
Is there an easy way on a quadratic?
Yeah, program a calculator to do it.
You can do that?
Yeah, I did it in college.
Swear, how?
So you have to write a program inside the calculator that'll ask you for A, B, and C. You type them in and then push enter to spit out the
Oh
answer.
yeah, you can also play Mario.
Not on
So
those.
can I do that?
Yeah, if you learn how to program. It's not that hard.
It's pretty hard.
You sure?
Like Python, that's
The only problem is you'd have to program every time because they get reset regularly. Yeah, that's even better because then it doesn't get reset. Okay. Questions on this one? Nah? Can I move on then? All right, cool. Now, finding real roots by graphing. The other way that you can do this, well, first we got to clean this up. This is x cubed minus 4x squared minus x plus 5. Yes? Can someone verify that for me, please? Destiny?
Yep.
Verify that that's true. This is the same as this. What I did was kick the 4 over and then kick the x over. So this equals 0. Right? Okay. Then what you can do, check this out, because this will be funner. Excuse me.
Hold on.
Oh, no games. Actually, this was a logarithm game. Check it out. All the same thing. Base change.
Log
So
is
fun.
so confusing. I don't understand it.
Because you haven't had me, bro.
The log, cosine, and sine being, you know, I'm talking about.
All that stuff's
Log
easy.
even stand for.
All right, so let's go to y equals. Who has the? Oh, let me get rid of this. Who has the polynomial? It was x to the 4th? X to the 3rd, no. Yeah? Oh, you're right. Wow. Four of them. So x to the 3rd to the 3rd minus 4x squared. Next, minus x plus 4.
Yeah, plus 5.
Plus 5. Okay, cool. So check this out. Graph. It's going to graph it for me, and guess what I'm after? I'm after this guy, and that guy. That's it. Now, does that look kind of hard? To try to find those spots? No. Because here's what you're going to do. You guys see trace right above it says it calculate? Second, calculate. What am I looking for? Which one of those? 0. So I'm going to go 2, and say, hey, where's the left side of your 0? Well, let's find this one first, right? So that's the left side. Where's the right side? Over on this side somewhere. And it's going to spit one out. Oh, there it is. Oh, it says guess. Never mind. Push enter. And when x is negative 1.09, there's 1 0. Ready for the next one? How do I do the next one? Second, calculate. What am I looking for? Zeros. And say, hey, where's the left side of it? I'm going to go right here somewhere. Oh, too far. Enter. Go on the right side of that. Enter. Enter. Here's my other 0, 1.16. And then to get the third one, same thing, right? Questions on that? Roman? I'm good, but are you good? You, of course you're not. You're looking at the notes on your paper. They're up here.
I'm freaking tired.
You're not the only one, bro. You know how much energy it's costing me to look this excited? I really want to.
You're doing once the bell rings, she's like, dude.
Man, I just want to show my door that power nap. Okay. Let's see what else we have left, and then maybe we just call it quits here. Oh, we will call it quits because we're done. Okay. What is that? Oh, you don't want to do that right now. Okay. So, factoring cubes, you're still just after zeros. I'll put them two together, make it easier on you. It'll only be $20. So I'll put both of them together. Cool. And then you'll work on it today. Oh, it won't be for like another week.